here's the thing. He won by 33,000 votes.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Can I just give you like a little layup here? But Nikki at one point said this is a purple state. That there's half the state that agrees with him.
Is it still a purple state?
It's still
right
purple.
now?
100%, by the way. 100%.
Okay, we'll see.
And by the way, the I-4 corridor is basically what splits the state. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
You got a lot of red in this state right now. I'm just
That's
telling
the
you.
I-4 corridor.
No, I mean, I think you have more
I'm
red
letting
than
you know it's a
realize.
purple state. Do your research. Got you. However,
during COVID, it flipped though. You guys got 2 more on the Republican side.
it's trending the different way.
No. It's historic. Say it correctly though, because that's what happened. Based on data, Republicans picked up 2 more, so it flipped. That's what happened to Florida. But continue with
and we can go into what happened in the 2020 election.
That's just
it's not as purple.
But that's what's happened with the red.
Trending more
so you may
red,
not like it, but that's what's happened.
But it's trending more
because
red.
of DeSantis. Continue.
But she does have a point that half the state thought a certain way, half the state. Now, if you want to say, no, it's 55-45, cool, whatever. But they're even 60-40, cool, whatever. But my question to you is, though, the race that DeSantis won in 2018, I believe, very close, neck and neck with Andrew Gillum.
Yep.
So my question to you is, all right, DeSantis won. Clearly, there's some advocacy for him. What would be different if Andrew Gillum won? Like DeSantis came in, people are flocking. Could a case be made that that wouldn't have been the case with Gillum? Like, give DeSantis maybe a little bit of credit here. Like, what would be different if Gillum was the governor versus DeSantis?
Yeah, I think that what would have happened differently is that you would not have had this cultural division, that you wouldn't have had a governor who only thought that he was only right and did not listen to other viewpoints. And that is what democracy is supposed to be about, that you're supposed to have people on both sides of the aisle that are supposed to come together and make decisions that are for the best interest of our state.
That doesn't happen in any state. I'm going to be honest with you. That has never happened in New York. I mean, I go to vote in New York, and it's a joke.
But that's how you just got here. This is how Florida used to be. Florida used to be that way. I used to be
Under
able to.
who? Charlie Crist?
Jeb Bush or Charlie Crist?
I mean, I talk to Jeb
Bob
all the
Graham?
time. All the time.
She does have a point here, Jeb.
We
Jeb
all
Bush?
used to. I talk to Jeb all the time. I was student body president during time of Jeb's, and I talk to Jeb all the time. I still talk to Rick Scott all the time during some of this pandemic stuff. Rick was calling me, and I was calling him. That's what it's supposed to be about. In fact, I was in Washington, D.C. last week, and I was talking to my federal affairs director, and Marco calls our office to work with us all the time.
Rubio?
That is what it's supposed to be about. And I was duly elected, flipping a seat by 1 million votes.
I hear what you're saying,
and there's no coming together in the recognition. You won by 33,000. There's
how many total people voted?
8.3 million.
Didn't 8 million people vote free, and you only won by 6,753 votes?
And that's why I talk to Republicans all day long.
Yeah, but you also barely won.
That is correct.
Okay, so what's the point there?
The point is that I flipped a seat by almost 1 million votes. A Democrat hasn't won Commissioner of Agriculture in over 20 years. No female has ever won Commissioner of Agriculture. I recognized that I didn't win by 100,000, 500,000.
Yeah.
And so you know what I did my first legislative session? All of my pieces of legislation were sponsored by Republicans.
I'm going to tell you, though, that, and I hear what you're saying about wanting people to come together, and I lived in that head for a very long time. And I'll tell you when it flipped for me. It flipped for me when the mandates happened, and I realized that there were people on the other side of the aisle that would bury me in 5 seconds if they had the chance. That is not, regardless, that is not what's happening in this moment, because there's a big segment of the country. There's 2 big segments of the country on both sides of the aisle who feel very differently. I mean, you talk about gun control, you can talk about crime, you can talk about the police, you can talk, every issue. It's 2 different worlds, 2 different ways of thinking. It's going to be very hard. And those people you're talking about, I mean, Jeb Bush, he doesn't appeal to me as a conservative. Marco Rubio right now doesn't appeal to me as a conservative. I'm looking at the Rand Pauls of the world. I'm looking at the Ron DeSantis of the world. Conservatives, people on the right, and people who are center right are very drawn to these fighters. People who aren't going to sit down and say, well, I'll give a little and you give a little, because that little that they give away is damaging.
But that's what democracy is supposed to be
We're a
about.
republic. We're not even a democracy, truthfully. But great. That sounds great. That sounds beautiful on paper. But when it comes down to it, people right now are in a moment where they're like, I need to take care of my family, my kids. They've just gone through 2 years of hell in some places.
What you've just described,
they don't want to compromise.
But that's what you're describing as what's wrong with America right now. Okay, that right now, because that's not how it used to be. I have a master's in political campaigning. I have a master's I have a degree in politics, and every time I have been involved, besides when this went south with DeSantis. I told you how we started this conversation. I walked into a cabinet that I had been friends with Ashley Moody since undergrad and law school. I've known Jimmy Petronis since his time in the legislature. I walked in as the head of the Democratic Party saying, let's find things that we can work together on, whether it's the environment, whether it's support for the state of Israel, whatever it is, that we tried to work on compromise. And the first legislative session, all of my bills were sponsored by Republicans. And that they're...
What kind of Republicans, though? The Mitch McConnells of the world that drive me crazy? The people who don't dig in their heels and fight? This is what I'm saying. If you and I sat down right now and we were trying to work together on something, we might find maybe the medical marijuana or the marijuana legalization, we would be.
You guys should probably go smoke a joint together.
Right,
I'm just throwing that out
we
there.
could join. I've never smoked a joint.
Well, it's starting now. We're going to make some change, Jedadiah.
Right, a pot brownie after the show. But no, really, I'm sure that issue. But we would have a really hard time because we wouldn't. No.
Yeah.
Trying to go out tonight, guys.
Yeah, he's thinking Miami.
It might get close to 420.
Yeah, that's all he's thinking. That's a good point. Watch us finish exactly at 420.
What does that mean? I've never heard that terminology.
Yeah, yeah.
I can definitely talk about
absolutely.
that.
But my point is just we would have a really hard time working together in the sense of we may like each other, we may get along, but I want very different things for this country. And if I were running, my platform would look very different from yours.
What would yours be, though, Jed? What would yours be?
I'm tired.
Sounds like you're making a campaign promise
maybe I'll
right
run
here.
for something. No, but I'm tired of politics as usual. It seems like politicians get into a room and they all shake hands and they come out and it's like, did any of you fight? Did you dig in
But Jed,
on anything?
policy-wise, what are you saying that you're wholeheartedly different from her
I'm
on?
saying that I would be fighting for school choice and I would be rallying
and
even gun control. I want that Second Amendment upheld and protected. I feel very strongly about that.
Okay, so let's talk about those two issues. Okay, let's talk about what you just talked about, choice. I'm not opposed to choice. I'm not opposed to choice at all. In fact, like I said, I have said this also very publicly. I had a learning disability when I was growing up. And luckily I was in a school that it was recognized and that I got special attention to make sure that happened.
Right.
And so not every child fits into the traditional school setting.
That's right.
That is, see, we're agreeing. Okay. But I don't agree with taking money away from our traditional schools to put them in choice. So you increase the amount of education money going in there. And I know we can talk for other hours about what's
Yeah, we would. And I think that this presents itself as, I hear what you're saying. You want people to come together more. You want politics to be more palatable, in terms of it being. I understand that, but that's not the moment we're in.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.